We are live. Welcome to the December meetup of Baltimore SharePoint Users Group. Let me share my screen. And get right into the presentation this evening. First of all, thank you for attending. Those of you who are attending on the last meeting of the year, lots has taken place this year, and many things to discuss. And I want this meeting to be a bit of a report card, so to speak, on what has taken place this year and areas to improve and focus upon for 2022. So let's get into it. Okay. So yes, SPUG Baltimore SharePoint Users Group December meetup. Now, for those of you who are new to Baltimore SharePoint Users Group, an overview is needed. First of all, Baltimore SharePoint is Maryland's longest running Microsoft focused community institution in the great state of Maryland since calendar year 2007, July to be exact. We've existed to provide training, resources, certification help, staffing help for Microsoft focused individuals. SharePoint just happened to be the fastest growing server platform in the history of Microsoft at the time of our launch. The story goes that Eric Harlan and I were employed at the same company way back in 2007. And that company decided to provide SharePoint consulting and custom development services for early stage companies, meaning companies who decided to purchase a server license of Office SharePoint Server 2007 and not just roll out the basic license or basic features or native features or what they call out of the box features. Oh, no. These companies were on the cutting edge or what they call the bleeding edge of innovation. And so during this time, there wasn't a ton of resources for professionals to solve these problems. TechNet at the time wasn't as robust or developed. The blogosphere really started to evolve after the popularity of both SharePoint Saturday as well as MOS 2007 adoption. And so we decided that launching a community around SharePoint server made a lot of sense. So at the time, I was the VP of marketing for SharePoint User Group DC, but I was commuting from Baltimore to Dulles, actually, was where the group was held. So long commutes and having something local made a lot of sense. And so we started, and since 2007, we've had meetings every single month. It may be the most consistent undertaking that I've done in my entire life. And so very proud of our progress and growth. So in quantifying what we've been doing, over 1,600 professionals trained and certified. And so very proud of where we're going as a whole, going into 2022. And at this point is a total of 5 Microsoft practices that have been launched, started. I never include my own with this, but that's what we're looking at, which means that at some point, uh, whether a member was laid off, whether a member was, whatever the case may be, they just made the decision to basically meet or connect with other members and launch a new business. And so very proud of that trajectory and where things are going in 2022. So special thanks to ProObject, who for many years has been our location sponsor. Obviously, we're meeting virtually during these times. And so ProObject was ranked one of the top 100 places to work in the state of Maryland. And so they have SharePoint opportunities available. And so you can go to or email tmstaley at proobject.com. That is tmstaley at proobject.com. And just ask for various SharePoint opportunities. In many cases, those opportunities are a hybrid. So it may be network engineer with some SharePoint work. Many of the roles are not dedicated SharePoint positions, but please reach out to him for full-time employment as well as contract opportunities at one of the agencies around the Beltway. And so our policy with unemployment and job uncertainty, basically the golden rule is this. We believe that our members, because they're attending from somewhere, meaning they're coming from looking for work, for example, during the day and coming to our meetings, or working on a contract or working at a company, that that shows a quality of going above and beyond. And we want to make sure that they have the access to the different opportunities that exist. And so with that being said, we have many recruiters and professionals who send us different details. And so you can go to email hello@mrshadi.com if you are facing difficulties, you're out of work, so on and so forth, or you're headed to a point where you may be. And so we will be offering free resume and career review as well as LinkedIn sessions through December 31st, 2021. And we'll reevaluate where things are and look to roll out a new policy going into 2022. Now, for those of you, as I mentioned, some have gone on to start their own practices. And so if you're a developer and you find yourself in a position where you, let's say, are a rock star at coding, a rock star at project management, a rock star being a technical lead, and you want to launch your own form of self-employment, whether you want to go corp to corp, which is a form of consulting, or you want to launch a practice where you have other team members under your corporate umbrella, then the next step would be to schedule a session with SCORE. Now, what SCORE is the nation's largest network of certified business professionals. And It's free. It's free. So this is a byproduct of, let's say, the Small Business Administration, who is a resource partner. And so your next step would be to go to greaterbaltimore.score.org, and they can help you with business planning, financial statements, cash flow planning, etc. And so score.org is your resource. And so for next month's session, we are welcoming the great, the talented Labrina Loving for our January session. It will be focused heavily on development. And so looking forward to that. And so stay tuned for that. So going into the year in review, this will not be a long session. Just want to touch base with those who support us and give you some insight into what's coming up down the line. And so our focus for 2021 going into this was to keep things afloat. And with shifting from an event series, which was 100% in person, and annual conferences that were 100% in person, the number one goal was consistency and to keep things up and running, keep things going. And I feel we've done a good job in that regard. Another area was with, let's say, follow up with certain members, as one of the big challenges is, maintaining that sense of community. Baltimore SharePoint has been a community, essentially a community for so many years, for so many people, and trying to maintain that in some way, shape, or form is always something that we've had to work on and look to develop. I think as we head into 2022, we will look at additional options, and that will be a focus for us. And so overall, keeping things consistent and trying to see what community looks like in the virtual arena. For many people, we had the challenge of just trying to feel things out and see how things would work. And of course, every organization had to deal with that. But for us, where our identity was so built into a live experience, it's truly been, let's say, a test throughout this year. And so we made it to December, and we look to see how 2022 will also play out. Now, certain ideas that we look to execute that I would say we need to focus on implementing would be the book shower. So the concept for the book shower was if a Microsoft professional, whether a speaker, author, influencer, thought leader, was releasing their book, to have them come to the session and discuss the book, not necessarily deliver a presentation, but discuss the ins and outs, discuss the background story of publishing the book, with the idea of having a specific call to action for that particular book. And so we did try this with adopting blockchain and cryptocurrency. The author, Fred Lee Brandon III, is a SharePoint professional for many years, and gave a presentation that focused on how blockchain would be used in the Microsoft space and some case studies. And it did lead to book sales, but I would say one area that we had to look deeper into is how to capitalize on the momentum of that that idea. So maybe in 2022, it's looking at how to do this every quarter. And so we have some work to do in that regard. So stay tuned for this concept in 2022. And so when it comes to shifting to more of a training organization or organization that not only holds monthly meetings, but also holds training, certifications, etc., and helps its members to better themselves in that way and provide more personal development. That's a journey we're still going down. One of the challenges would be resources and people who want to study for certification. So from an accountability standpoint, we need to make sure we're putting out regular invites and calls to action. We need to have, let's say, anchor facilitators, which means people who would like to basically host those sessions. And so to have, let's say, me, for example, to deliver every session every time would not be efficient. And since certification is a common goal, we need to look into ways to use leverage for that. So that's one area we're going to look to continue to improve for the 2022 campaign. Now, when we talk about speakers, this is an area that we're working on right away. In the virtual space, having a featured presenter makes life 10 times easier because for many user groups, people come for the topic. And so no matter if they're located locally or they're in another state, I believe that this is an area that will help us continue to grow. And so we have 7 speakers that we're conversing with now, and to get them scheduled for 2022. And so once we have the initial lineup of feature speakers, then we're going to look to have more shorter content to start off the meeting. Ultimately, I would like to have a shorter presentation and a feature presentation for every session, or a panel once a quarter. And so those are that's the vision for 2022. We had a few great speakers. We had Fred Lee Brandon. We had Rima Reyes. We have Fabian Williams, just to name a few. But we're looking to continue Scott Brewster, of course. He delivered 2 sessions. And we're looking to continue to build on that so that we can put out a speaker lineup at least 1 quarter in advance, which will help virtual attendance. It would also help our email marketing, as being able to send out the replay would allow us to have some additional members to join. And so those are areas that we're working on aggressively now. I'm happy to have Microsoft support from Labrina Loving, and a few surprises on deck for 2022. So be on the lookout for that. Now, when it comes to SharePoint versus Microsoft Teams versus Microsoft 365 versus Power Platform, there's meant that we as a group must always look to the future and always look to remain relevant. And so would it make sense to shift our focus to more Power Platform content? These are areas that we're looking to uh, look at, examine, develop, and ultimately shift so that our community, our audience, is consistently given the best content, so, and the best experience. And so keep that on the back burner. Next is our annual conference. Now, as you may or may not know, the SharePoint Saturday brand, or the SPS events brand, is no longer. And so we, which includes the SPS Saturday website, and what made SharePoint Saturday unique was that the leverage of the website was a community. So, which means if you're based in Cleveland, Ohio, and you wanted to attend SharePoint Saturday Cleveland, you had to go to a website, and all the events, not only for Cleveland, but Los Angeles, for Phoenix, for Washington, D.C., are all in one place. And so that's one thing that was a benefit for all events hosts, because you're utilizing, let's say, cross promotion in the marketing. And so that made things 10 times easier. And so that no longer exists. And so now each SharePoint Saturday event has its own marketing, its own audience, and that's what we're looking at for 2022. We've hosted 11 of these events, and so it's just a matter of getting ahead. And with 2021, there was a discussion of hosting the event, but also would like to have the events in person if possible, because that is the journey that we've been on. And so, or let's say that would give us the best opportunity to deliver the best experience. And so, but we can't wait too long or wait until certain things happen. And that's what we're also considering. So be on the lookout at least 4 months in advance on the announcement of our new event, which it will have to be rebranded, because again, SharePoint Saturday is no longer. And so as we wrap things up and bring it to a close, thank you for your support of Baltimore SharePoint over calendar year 2021. We will be coming back for Labrina Loving, third Thursday of January. And so again, thank you for all your support.